Well, good morning and welcome to Cityline. It's great to be in your home. It's Thursday morning, August 18th. It feels a little folly out there, but the weatherman says it's going to be in the 90s. So please take care of you and your family in terms of staying cool. We have a great hour ahead of us. Later on, we'll be talking with Mario Lorenz. And no, he didn't bring his top hat this time, but he did bring us information on the Hilltop Street Fair, which if you are new to Tacoma and don't know about the Hilltop Street Fair, buckle up, Buttercup, because that's a really great street fair that you have to attend. Dana is with us. Dana is the new executive director of Pierce Conservation District, and she's going to talk about what she's learning and what's ahead of us as she sits on the comfy couch. And of course, Fa'alua Pritchard, known to many of us as Lua, is here in the house, and she's going to be talking about their upcoming luau, which speaking of Hallmark events, that's one of them as well. And then with me right now, if you saw in the wide shot, is someone that I have gotten to know only because I heard about this person's story. And when I heard the story, I was compelled to watch every single city council meeting that I knew that this person was going to be at, and also in their capacity as either council member or deputy mayor or back to council member. I'm talking about the one, the only Keith Blocker. It has taken me years to get you on this comfy couch again as a council member. Welcome, my dear.
Thank you for having me, Amanda. It's so good to be here.
It's good to have you here. Okay, let's talk about these socks. Cheryl, can we have some sock cam? Put that foot up there. Okay, hold it still, because there it is. Because every girl is crazy about a sharp-dressed man. Those socks, you're taking a page out of Chris Surface's book. I mean, I'm going to put a challenge up. Chris Surface, see these socks? You now have to beat them because these are amazing. So, Keith, you have such an amazing background, which you gave me permission to talk about your upbringing and what makes you so amazing. But I want to talk before we get to that about District 3. What are the boundaries of District 3 so we get an idea of where you operate all your greatness?
Right. So District 3 is the Hilltop, Central Tacoma, and parts of South Tacoma, going all the way up to 56th Street, 6th Avenue. Those are some of the borders, and then the highway. So,
yeah.
So everything in the mall area is part of my district, the Hilltop, Central Tacoma. It's a lot of ground to cover. Yeah.
And that's a busy, busy district.
Very busy.
Every district is busy, but yours, when I think about that, it's a physically busy district. There's a lot of commerce, a lot of entrepreneurship goes on, in addition to the residents who live in that district.
Oh yeah.
Let's go, before I ask you about what inspired you to run. The first time somebody told me that the man that I was watching on television grew up in a situation that would stop most people in their tracks, I went, are you kidding me? So, Councilmember Blocker, would you please tell our audience about your upbringing and why you are so effective in your district when you look out on the streets?
Well, that's a great question. So many people know I grew up in Philadelphia in the 80s and 90s during the crack cocaine epidemic, and that consequently created all kinds of problems in my community and in my family. At the time, my mother struggled with a substance use disorder, which led to us being homeless. She experienced domestic violence, which led us to being homeless. So I've experienced some things as a young person that no child should have to experience, living in shelters. One time we lived in a shelter called the Women Against Abuse Shelter, where we had to flee a domestic violence situation. And it was for a 1 month stay. It was a great place, but it was temporary. So when I think about women who are going through domestic violence and young people who are experiencing homelessness, those are the stories that I hold on to when I do the work in the city of Tacoma.
That's incredible. So what I hear you saying is that when you look at some of those situations, either be it in People's Park, be it a unhoused encampment, you remember what it feels like to see that in Philadelphia and in growing up. How old were you the first time that you didn't have a place to lay your head at nighttime?
I mean, when you think about what homelessness is, the first time, we had to leave our place, we couldn't afford to pay rent. We had to go to a friend's house or sleep on someone's couch. So I think I was 6 years old the first time my mother let me know we couldn't afford to be where we were at and we had to go to another place temporarily. And for 25 years in Philadelphia, I've probably lived in over 25 different houses in one city, from a span of 5 years to sleeping on somebody's couch for a couple days. So I moved around a lot in Philadelphia.
And a couple times you've said we, and so I want to have you define we.
Oh, my mom.
You've got siblings.
My mom and my three sisters.
And where do you fall in the three sister? Are you the oldest, youngest, middle? What are you?
Oh, so when growing up with my mom was the matriarch in the family. I was the oldest son, and I had two younger sisters that we primarily lived with. So we was the crew wherever we went.
You
we
were
went together. There were times where we had to split up. There was times where people didn't want the boy, so they only took the girl. So I had to separate from my mom and come back with her when she was more secure. So I think about people experiencing homelessness and all the different dynamics that goes on in people's families and all the barriers that people face. So a lot of barriers, and oftentimes young people aren't even thought about or included in that dialogue. When we talk about the trauma that parents are experiencing, we often forget that the children are experiencing trauma as well.
Absolutely. And then when those children grow up, they are triggered, trauma-induced adults that sometimes don't understand what triggers them or why they feel and behave and are treated in a certain way.
Right.
But I'm sitting here looking at you. Beautiful suit, gorgeous socks, nice shoes, and I think to myself, you've got a beautiful, successful, intelligent, black magic wife who doesn't sit still in this community. You have two little kings you're raising. So how on earth did you end up the way you are in all these successes that we count with personal, family, professional, given where your roots started from, Keith? What do you contribute to you?
It starts with my mother. The spirit of my mother. She taught me to serve. She taught me to value education. She taught me to value community. And those are the things that I held on to. So when I went out into the mean streets, I held on to the principles that my mother taught me. And my father wasn't completely absent. He played a role in my life, and he always provided wisdom and guidance. So when I think about why I am who I am, is from those roots. But ultimately, it's because of community. Throughout my whole life, I've been able to connect with beautiful, amazing people that have helped me progress in life. So it's really not about me. It's all community.
But you attract that because of the energy that you have and because of the spiritualness that you carry with you. You manifest solutions in good people. Speaking of good people, let's talk about the council made history on August 16th. That's only 2 days ago.
Right.
By appointing Olgie Diaz. I watched it. I cried through it. She is the first Latina on the city council. Next year, the election of some of the city council seats, what would you say to somebody who's thinking of running for city council?
Well, first I want to say congratulations to Olgie.
Yes.
That's a huge success for her and the Latino community, and I'm extremely proud to be able to serve with her. When I think about if you're interested in running for office, now's the time. Get ready, start sharing your story, start talking about your great ideas, start connecting with people in the community. But first and foremost, just continue to serve. Let your service speak for itself.
Would you say that again one more time?
Let your service speak for itself.
Well, that needs to be a T-shirt, and that needs to be written across people's hearts.
Yep.
Absolutely. If somebody has a question and they want to talk with you, I know you are busy. You are so busy. But how do our constituents get a hold of you?
Keith.blocker@cityofTacoma.org. It's real easy to find me. You could Google City of Tacoma City Council. You could find all your council members. We're more than happy to meet with you. I like to read my emails.
Yep.
Especially nice emails.
That's right. That say you're doing a great job,
right.
because you are.
But yeah, email, phone call, happy to connect.
We have 1 minute left. In that 1 minute, tell me, what is one of the biggest challenges we're facing in your district?
Homelessness is the biggest challenge in my opinion. The lack of housing, not enough jobs, not enough housing, and people are starting to get desperate, and we just need more support all around in our community. We got to come together to make things better, and it can't just be the city of Tacoma. It has to be the whole city.
The citizens of Tacoma.
Citizens, yeah, absolutely.
Often, Keith, when I am out in the community, and I do work that puts me forward-facing with people who are unhoused, I often see other people just walk by them like they're invisible. What do you have to say to those people to help them understand that they need to turn their head and see that that's someone's son and daughter?
Right. I mean, the way this economy is, anybody could be one day or one paycheck away from being homeless. So just thinking about that gives me the compassion to know, like, I could be there. Any one of us could be there. Any traumatic situation could lead to somebody having a mental breakdown.
Right.
It's just, we're all just one traumatic experience away from, being in a tent. And
It's true.
yeah.
I mean, every day I often say, I'm tired of making history. Now, I love it when we make history like Olgie Diaz, but if I see one more time something bad happened in this world, I wonder how people are going to hang on. So I thank you for your heart, for your mind, for your thoughts, your feelings, and for your dedication. And I want you back on the couch in 90 days.
Oh, thank you. I would love to be back in 90 days.
We have much more to come on Cityline. Don't go away. We'll be right back.